What up? This is Goose from Comeback Kid. I'm blowing it up on Capital Chaos TV.
You are number 666.
So Andrew, how did you first get into music, and what turned you on to who turned you on to rock, then hardcore? How did that come about?
I've been into music since I was like, as long as I can remember. I grew up in a musical family, and I played piano early on and got a guitar when I was 12. So I mean, ever since I was, able to, really do music, I was doing. I think I wrote my first song when I was like 9 years old or something. So it was just kind of a very natural thing to me. And my older brother exposed me to rock and punk rock and metal. And I found hardcore, maybe from another, friend's older brother when I was maybe 13 years old or something like that. So here I still am today. Love it.
No doubt, no doubt. What was hardcore? What was hardcore at the age of 13? Was it Hatebreed, or was it? You're not old enough for it to be Warzone or Gnostic Front, obviously.
Yeah, I mean those bands were going on then. So okay, I'm 36 now. So when I was 13, that would have been like 23 years ago, 2000. This is we're talking mid 90s. My first hardcore bands would have been, I probably got into it more. I got into punk rock first, so stuff like Propaganda. They're a local band from Winnipeg when I was growing up. So my first punk CD was a split CD between Propaganda and I Spy. And that kind of just opened me up to the punk rock world. And then, from there, I learned a bit about bands like Minor Threat. And from there on, Youth of Today, and then from there on, got the whole Victory Records stuff in the mid-90s, the Earth Crisis, Snapcase, Strife kind of stuff. And from then on, it just kind of, I learned, the Warzone and stuff would have been thrown in there. But, I had a gradual kind of move from, the No Effects and the Green Day into the Minor Threats and then into the kind of more metal stuff that Victory Records was putting up back in the mid '90s. So yeah.
Were fanzines a part of your life in those early days?
Yeah. I actually did a fanzine back when I was a teenager as well. Never really did much with it, but got to review a few records and stuff like that.
How did you like reviewing records?
It's fun. It's just a fun thing to do with your friends at that time. It was a good way for me to hit up record labels and try to get some records for free as well.
Absolutely.
That was something I was stoked on. So it was just a good way for me to kind of get plugged into this network of music that I was so passionate about.
And you said you started playing guitar at around 12. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Was there was one laying around the house, or you had your parents go out and buy some that caught your eye?
Yeah, they did. I got it as a birthday present, a guitar, a Fender Stratocaster, a Japanese Fender Strat with a little Trainer combo amp. So got to do lessons for a year or something, and then just kind of taught myself from there.
Nice. Now, were you forced to go to church as a child, and did you go to church?
I was forced to go to church.
And did you participate?
Yeah, I was forced to go to church. Did you participate when I was a kid? Yeah.
Were you an altar boy, or did you sing in the choir, or any of that stuff?
None of that stuff. But it was, it wasn't like a Catholic thing. Some sort of, it was a more Protestant thing, and I actually took that with me into being a teenager. I was probably believing all that shit until I was like, 20 years old or something like that. And actually my early bands were kind of like Christian type, it was definitely inspired by some of that stuff and some of that Tooth and Nail, Solid State stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with those labels.
I am, yes, absolutely.
Facedown Records.
Sure.
Sorry?
No, I'm sorry, go ahead. No.
Facedown Records was an early label that I was signed to, and that kind of got me my start with like touring and being in, my old band Figure 4 kind of had a little bit of that kind of Christian background, and that's probably why that's kind of slowed down, just because my faith I lost my faith kind of as I stopped being a teenager and got into my 20s. So.
Huh. Alrighty. Well, it's been 3 years since Die Knowing. Are you recreating the album, the last album, with the new one, Outsider?
No, I wouldn't say so. Have you heard the record by chance?
I've not heard the new one. No.
No. No, it's not. We're not recreating it. No, it's a brand new record and a lot of different kind of dynamics. A lot more melodic on a lot of bits, but we're definitely taking that metallic, loud approach in the production, and yeah. And
how difficult is it to put songs in order on the album, or is it just numbers out of a hat?
It's more difficult. It's more difficult when you got too many cooks in the kitchen. Not too many, but more cooks in the kitchen. Everyone kind of has their ideas of what should be the right songs in the front of the album. Usually, whoever wrote the song kind of wants the songs they've written kind of on the front of the album. So it's just more of a friendly back and forth between the band members. Everyone kind of has their opinion, and so I think it's just mostly just kind of organizing the opinion between the band members of what they think should go up. But it takes a little time. Definitely need to feel it out a little bit.
And what was the local scene like in the beginning there where you're from? Was there a particular band you aspired to be like?
Like I said, one of my first bands, I live in Toronto now, but I grew up in Winnipeg. One of my first bands was a local band called Propaganda. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but
I am.
They're one of the first punk bands that ever opened my mind to social justice issues, and really had something great to say. And their playing was just like those were the songs that I would definitely try to learn when I first started playing guitar. So.
And how was you did about 5 releases on Victory? How was your Victory experience compared to other bands who have shared their negative experiences?
We're Canadian, so we're not really trying to ruffle too many feathers. I mean, I knew that there was a lot of people that worked at Victory that really did believe in our band. It definitely helped us along the way. I'm still friends with people that have worked for us from Victory that have come and gone from the label, or that are still at the label. I mean, the A&R who signed us, Clint Billington, he's a great guy, and he always had so much love and support for the band and really treated us with respect and listened to our concerns. We definitely had some ups and downs along the way, but we left on amicable terms. They sent us an offer for this new record, but we just kind of wanted to try something new, so we signed it with Nuclear Blast.
How stoked are you to be on Nuclear Blast with Discharge and Slayer?
Fucking sick, dude. Oh, it's awesome. It's gonna be. We're trying something out new, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's a different kind of label to come back in, but I hope it works.
Do you get a discount, or you get free shit from the warehouse when you go to LA?
I haven't been there yet, man.
Okay.
I want to check it out.
And you have a Canadian guest on the new album. What can you tell us about working with the guest on the new album?
Which guest?
Well, you have 3 guests, and I believe they're all from Canada, right?
Yeah. Which one in particular are you asking about?
Well, it's good time to talk about Chris Criswell.
Well, he's from the band The Flatliners, and he's just a friend of mine. And we had a song that I had. I did a vocal guide in a range where I couldn't really sing as aggressively as I really wanted to in that range. So when we were finished up in Vancouver recording, I came back home to Toronto and invited him down to the studio, and we just tried a few things out. I kind of had a guide ready for him already, but he was able to kind of wing a few of his own parts on. And yeah, I think it turned out really cool. It's on a song called Consume the Vision. But we actually have a single that's out already. It's been out for a while now, and that has Devin Townsend on it. You may know him from Strapping Young Lad or his solo stuff. And he killed it on this song called Absolute. He just sent in a bunch of tracks, and he's like a mad scientist, just kind of threw out like 10 tracks at us. Said, hey, like, use what you want, or you don't have to use anything, or anything you don't want to use. And so we just kind of sprinkled it in the mix. And it's definitely a little out there, so we're stoked on it.
Do you still get nervous before gigs? Or is it just... It's
not really, man, no.
Total second nature now, huh?
Kind of more so excited.
And have the recent suicides of famous musicians affected you? And do you have a theory on them at all?
Not really, man. I mean, it's definitely sad. But it's not really, I feel pretty far removed from it. At least the musician's suicide. So yeah, I'm not really, didn't really affect me as it did some others, I think.
And you're about to go on tour with Jesus Piece, is that right? Jesus Piece and Burn.
Yeah, Jesus Piece and Burn.
How stoked are you about that?
It's gonna be cool, man. Burn is an old New York hardcore band that we've never toured with. I've actually never seen them. We got a new record out on Death Wish, so I think it's gonna be cool. Jesus Piece is like nice up and comers. I hear their live shows are crazy. I haven't seen them yet. So it's gonna be great to be out with like a classic hardcore band, and a new band, a new metalcore band that's like has a lot of hype right now.
And the album comes out in September. Do you have a bunch of cool packaging?
Yeah,
What's that?
September 8th.
September 8th. Is there a bunch of cool packages? Or any toys that are coming with it? Any special tracks, bonus tracks, cover songs? Any other goodies that we can expect?
Yeah, we got a bunch of bundles up on the Nuclear Blast site. We can check them out on our, we can find it from our Instagram or our Facebook page. It has a bunch of limited designs and pre-order shirts and bags and some other goodies. And then we do have a cover that we've recorded that we're not releasing with the record. We're gonna let the record breathe a little bit, and then we'll probably be putting out a cover by a band called Midnight Oil. You know that song, Beds Are Burning?
Absolutely.
But yeah, we covered that song. We're not gonna put it out for a little while. We're gonna let the record have a little bit of time to shine first, and then get that song out. So that could be interesting.
How important is the artwork on? How important is the cover artwork in this digital age when everything is so small, and people consume stuff differently? They don't necessarily open things up and tear the wrapping off or whatnot.
I think it depends on the person. I mean, I just got some copies of our LPs sent to me like yesterday from Nuclear Blast. I'm just checking this out right now. I think our cover turned out really cool. And if it wasn't important, we probably wouldn't, again, just kind of with these songs, we're always kind of butting heads, and everyone has their different idea of what they think is cool and what's not cool internally in the band. So, it's usually just about coming to a common agreement. But I'm pretty stoked on how this turned out. I'm looking at this clear vinyl here and the cover artwork, and it looks pretty fucking cool. So I'm happy with it.
Killer. And just a couple more questions. What song would you like to be played at your funeral or cremation? And what 3 albums would you like to take to your grave?
I haven't even thought about that, man. Dude, it's a morbid question, though. Maybe World Waits by Jeremy Enoch would be a good song to play at the funeral. Jeremy Enoch's from and 3 records to take to my grave. I don't know. I won't be listening to records at my grave, so I don't need to take any with me. I'll just take my my iPhone with me, and hopefully I'll have more records on that, because you don't need this physical music anymore, right?
No, 64 gigabytes or 500 or terabytes, right?
I'm such a minimalist these days, dude. I don't own like much physical music myself these days. I'm on the go way too much for it.
Yeah, I buy CDs, because I want to support, but you just sort of end up in a shelf, right, in the closet.
Yeah.
So I'm actually contemplating just getting rid of mine, and
yeah.
Now I buy records, and they end up on the shelf somewhere. So
yeah.
Become a slave to your property. Do you have any final thoughts, shout-outs, or dirty jokes? Anything to anybody that might be reading this or listening to this?
We're just excited to have our record out. We got a tour to Canada, Counterparts, Straight from the Past, and then the States with Burn and Jesus Peace, and then Europe with Every Time I Die and Knock Loose in November. So we're working and we're making moves. We're going to be touring a lot in 2018 as well. Definitely try to come out and check us out if you have a chance.